Hello dear friends. In today's video, we are going to learn past continuous tense. The past continuous tense is an important tense in English. We use it to say what we were in the middle of doing at a particular moment in the past. It is used to describe actions that began in the past and often continued for a short period of time after the action started. This tense describes actions or events that happen at a specific time in the past. These actions are usually no longer happening at the time the sentence is being said or written. Let's look at the structure and the use of the past continuous tense followed by a quiz to check your understanding. Note that continuous tenses are also called progressive tense. So, the past continuous tense is also called the past progressive tense. How do we make the past continuous tense? The structure or formula of the past continuous tense is subject plus was or were plus ing form of the verb plus object. ing form of the verb is called present participle form of the verb. See the example. I was watching movie. He was helping his mother. We were playing cricket. Here we use was with I, he or she and were with you and we. From the above sentences we can understand that the formula or structure of the past continuous tense is subject plus was or were plus ing form of the verb. See the first example. I was watching movie. Subject is I, so we use that was. And ing form of the verb watch. Next one. He was helping his mother. Subject is he, so again we use that was and ing form of the verb help. See the third one. We were playing cricket. Here the subject is we, so we use that were, okay, because it's plural, and ing form of the verb play. Okay, then let's move on to the rules of the past continuous tense. Let me begin. First rule is the past continuous tense expresses action at a particular moment in the past. That means action started at a particular moment in the past. I mean the action started before that moment but has not finished at that moment. For example, I was watching TV at 8 p.m. yesterday. That means I watched maybe a film or any TV program. The film started before 8 p.m. and finished after 8 p.m. The action was a continuous process because I was watching TV. It was a continuous process. The action started maybe before 8 p.m. and finished after 8 p.m. So, when we use the past continuous tense, our listener usually knows or understands what time we are talking about. Look at the following examples. I was working at 10 p.m. last night. We can understand when did the action happen or what time the action was happening. Next one, they were not playing football at 9 a.m. this morning. From this sentence, we also understand that it was a continuous process, then the time when the action was happening. From these examples, we can understand that the action started before that moment and has not finished at that moment. Then let's move on to next rule. Rule number 2. We often use the past continuous tense with the past simple tense. I mean simple past tense. We use past continuous tense to express a long action. And we use the past simple or simple past tense to express a short action. that happens in the middle of the long action. We can join the two ideas with when or while. There will be two actions. One will be long action, next one will be short action. We use past continuous tense with long action and simple past tense or past simple tense with the short action. See the example. I was watching TV when you telephoned. Here in this example, we can understand that long action as watching TV. Okay, it is expressed with past continuous tense, ing form. And short action telephoned expressed with past simple. Notice that when you telephoned is also a way of defining the time. We didn't mention there the correct time like at 9 a.m. or at 8 p.m. like that. But we used there when. It is also a way of defining the time. Okay. Then here in this sentence, when plus short action. That means telephoned. Then maybe in the sentence, watching TV took hours. Okay. So watching TV is a long action. So it is used with the past continuous tense, was watching TV. Telephoned, it took a few seconds. So it is used with simple past tense. So when plus short action, it is used with past simple. Then we can use while with long action. See that next example. While I was reading a book, my father returned home from his office. See, with long action, we used while because while I was reading a book, reading book took hours. Okay. My father returned home. It took a few seconds. So, in the long action, I was reading. While I was reading, we use that past continuous tense. In the short action, father returned home. Returned. It took a few seconds. So, we use that simple past or past simple. Then we can change the same sentence like, I was reading a book when my father returned home from his office. In this sentence, we used when with short action. We should use when with short action and while with long action. Okay, notice that the long action and short action are relative. See the next example. While we were sitting at the stadium, the rain began. In this sentence, we used simple past tense or past simple tense with the short action, the rain began. Okay, with the long action, we used past continuous tense. I mean, we were sitting at the stadium, were sitting. Okay, so in this combination, the simple past tense interrupted the past progressive tense action. This shows that something happened in the middle of something else happening. Let's move on to the next rule. Rule number 3. It can be used when describing the background of a story written in the past tense. For example, the sun was shining brightly when. In the past action and the story, we use the past continuous tense. The sun was shining brightly. Was shining. One more example. Last month, as I was driving. Then something happened. We didn't mention it there. We can use past continuous tense when describing the background of a story written in the past tense. Let's move on to rule number 4. It can be used when describing an unfinished action that was interrupted by another action. For example, I was having a great conversation with my friend when his father interrupted it. Here the unfinished action is I was having a great conversation with my friend. Then his father interrupted it. That is finished action. So here when we described an unfinished action, The another action interrupted it. Okay. See the next example. I was having a terrifying dream when the clock went off at 5 o'clock this morning. The unfinished action here is I was having a terrifying dream. The interrupted action is the clock went off. See one more example. I was making dinner when he arrived at my house this evening. The unfinished action is was making dinner. The finished and interrupted action is arrived at my house. From these above sentences, we can understand that it can be used when describing an unfinished action that was interrupted by another action. Okay, let's move on to our next rule. Rule number 5. It can be used to express a change of mind or thought that happened in the past. For example, Anne was going to accept the job offer in New York but changed her mind later. From this sentence, we can understand that Anne was going to accept the job offer in New York but changed her mind later. So we can use past continuous tense to express a change of mind or thought that happened in the past. See the next example. I was going to spend the afternoon at the mall but decided to stay home instead. Okay, hope you understood. Let's look at the next rule. Next rule is rule number 6. It can be used to show that two actions were going on at the same time in the past. Neither of these actions are happening in the present. See the first example. Mark was playing while John was watching TV. Two actions were going on. One action is Mark was playing. The another action is John was watching TV. Okay. See the next example. Anne was singing on stage while Polly was playing the violin. Here also two actions were going on. Anne was singing and Polly was playing. So we can use this to show that two actions were going on at the same time in the past. Then see the next rule. Rule number 7. It can be used with the words always, constantly and forever. When using it this way, it is used to talk about things that happened repeatedly but occurred in the past. The action is not happening now and was temporary habit. See the example. Our neighbor was always telling us funny stories about his daughter. So here we used always with ing form of the verb or past continuous tense, was always telling. Okay. So it is used to talk about things that happen repeatedly. That's why we used here always. But it occurred, this action occurred in the past. This action is not happening now. And it was a temporary habit. Then see the another example. She was constantly singing songs about nature. It is also a repeated action. But it happened in the past, not now. This action is not happening now. Then how do we make the past continuous negative? To make negative sentences, we insert not between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. For example, he was not helping Mary. They were not playing cricket. You can see the word not inserted between the auxiliary verb and the main verb in these examples. See the first example. He was not helping Mary. What is the auxiliary verb and the sentence? The auxiliary verb is was. And what is the verb in the sentence? Verb in the sentence is helping. So we inserted not in between them. And the same thing happened in the next sentence. They were not playing cricket. Were is the auxiliary verb and playing is the main verb. We inserted not in between the both words. To make questions, we exchange the subject and the auxiliary. He was playing cricket. Was he playing cricket? She was helping her mother. Was she helping her mother? From these examples, you can understand that the subject and the auxiliary verb are exchanged. He was became was he. She was became was she. Or you can ask questions by using question words as well as past continuous tense. In these sentences, we used auxiliary verb to ask questions. Was he playing cricket? Was. Was she helping her mother? Okay. Then you can ask questions by using question words. What was he doing? He was playing cricket. What was she doing? She was helping her mother. Or what was she doing when he telephoned her? She was cooking when he telephoned her. So we can ask questions by using question words. To sum up, the past continuous tense is important since it is used when mentioning actions or events that happened at a specific time in the past and which are generally no longer are happening now. This tense can be used alone or can be combined with past simple tense to show that an action or event happened in the middle of another action, and it can be used when describing the background of a story written in the past tense, and it can be used when describing an unfinished action that was interrupted by another action, and it can also be used to express a change of mind or thought that happened in the past. It can also be used to show that two actions were going on at the same time in the past. It can be used with the words always, constantly, and forever. These are the rules of the past continuous tense. Don't forget, if you want to make past continuous positive sentences into negative sentences, use not or insert not between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. And to make questions, we can exchange the subject and the auxiliary. You can ask questions by using question words also. It's a time for quiz. Read the following questions and do it accordingly. Fill in the blanks with past continuous tense. Pause your video. Try to do it. Let's discuss the answers. See the first question. Julie dashed sleep when her mother entered her room. The answer is Julie was sleeping when her mother entered her room. Second question. I dash study at 4 o'clock in this evening. I was studying at 4 o'clock in this evening. Next one. Luke dash reading while his brother was playing. Answer is Luke was reading while his brother was playing. See the next one. They dash always eat chocolate in the class. Answer is they were always eating chocolate in the class. Fifth question is we dash watch TV while they were singing songs. Answer is we were watching TV while they were singing songs. Sixth question is Dr. Ford not read in his room when the murder happened. Dr. Ford was not reading in his room when the murder happened. Next one. Mr. Benz not drink coffee in the library when his colleagues searched for him. Answer is Mr. Benz was not drinking coffee in the library when his colleagues searched for him. Eighth question. My brother and sister dash play tennis at 11 a.m. yesterday. Answer is my brother and sister were playing tennis at 11 a.m. yesterday. Ninth one. Dash you still working at 7 p.m. last night. Were you still working at 7 p.m. last night? The last question is at 8:30 a.m. today I dash drive to work. At 8:30 a.m. today I was driving to work. Hope you got all answers. Congratulations. This is the time for your exercise. Read the given questions and do it accordingly. We can discuss the answers in the evening as usual. You can see the answers in the comment box after 6 p.m. today. Hope you understood today's class. Thank you.